So today we're going to be making a plaster cast with Great Stuff Big Gap Filler. Now for this first video, I'm just going to explain what we have here. Out on the table we have our two molds, both made of plaster. We have a few bungee cords and clamps so we can clamp everything together. We have some stakes so we can stick them into the molds, make it a little bit easier to pull out. We have our casting material, Great Stuff Big Gap Filler. I have acetone, which we'll need to clean out this little spray thing that comes with the big stuff, the Great Stuff. And then I have this baby powder just because it helps me dry up my hands after I get them all schmutzy. Alright. So, here we are. We have our Great Stuff. We're getting ready to cast. As you can see here, I put my stakes in here. If you spray the stuff in and then put the stakes in, you can agitate the foam and mess up the way it sets up. So you want to pretty much hold them in there for the duration of the setting, or get them so that they're nice and stable. So here we go. I'm going to stick this deep in there and just start spraying away. See what happens. Look at that. Looks pretty interesting so now. Maybe I'm putting in too much. Maybe I'm putting in too little. I'm not sure. It's kind of an experiment. Alright, there's the second one in here. So it's kind of messy. Looks like everything is setting up pretty well. Alright, so now we're going to wipe this off. We're going to throw it into the acetone. Okay, careful not to get this on your hands because it's really sticky. Take a little bit of your paper towel here, dip it in the acetone, try to wipe down the tip of this bottle so that stuff doesn't set up blocking the hole. If you let it set up and block that hole, then you won't be able to use it again. And since we only used a little bit, that'd be an awful shame. If you wait until after it cures, you'll be out of luck. You have to get it while it's curing. So now I'm going to take the camera here. I kept my hands nice and clean. I'm just going to show you down in here. Foam seems to be setting up pretty nicely. My stakes are in there. They look kind of secure. Now, I think it says on the can that it takes about 15 minutes until it's tack-free, and it cures completely in about 8 hours. So we won't be waiting here for that whole time, but we'll come back to see how they turn out. Alright, see you then. It's been more than 8 hours since we cured, and just to start off this video, I demolded the 1 foot, and you can see it actually came out pretty well. Surprisingly well, actually, the detail, the toes here. I demolded it before the 8-hour cure time, and that may have affected how much it damaged the mold here. You can see the mold is pretty roughed up. Took off some of this plaster and stuff. The molds weren't made so well to begin with, and you know, as they say, no good casting can come from a bad mold. So, today we're going to demold the other one. It's been well over 8 hours, so hopefully it looks nice and pretty. I'm going to start by taking off these clamps. Now, I use bungee cords, but if you want something if you're more serious, you want something with a little bit more detail or a little bit more form, there are special kind of bandages that people use for casting that you can invest in. They probably sell them at an art supply store, or even at the Home Depot or something. So this foam has expanded together. I'm just going to rip it apart a little bit. It doesn't provide that much resistance. get this out of there. And I'll rip that bungee cord out. Alright, that came out nicely. Now, I've got a spackle knife. You'll need this if you're doing anything with plaster molds. You need one of these. Cast this inside a tin pan just to help with registration marks. And you can see the crevice there. I'm going to shove this in between. Seems like it's going to come off pretty nicely. Yes, indeed. So, well, that one came off very nicely. I guess the cure time makes a significant difference. So now this is what we have on the bottom. You can see this person has significantly smaller feet than this person does. Quite a difference. Anyway, let's go ahead and take off the back part of the mold is probably the most difficult because it has a tendency to get molded over top of. And I used way too much expanding foam. There was excess all over the place. It was the first time I used it, so I had no idea how much would be coming out. But just keep that in mind if you want to do a little experiment. Start on a small scale, get yourself an idea of how much it expands, and then go from there. Try to do this without... Key is to get it off without ripping the foam. That's not what's happening there with that noise. Okay, that looks like it came out pretty nice. We have a little bit of foam stuck in there. Again, the mold wasn't too clean to begin with. That's all on me. Now we should take off the top part. This should be a little bit easier. Now the foam does flex quite a bit, so when you're pulling it out of a rigid mold like plaster, that helps quite a bit. And there we have it. We have these 2 feet. It looks like the foam actually didn't cure just right. It looks like it's a little bit thinner than the actual thing. That's okay. I just wanted to get a general idea of how these things work. Now, you can take a look at the other foot. The other foot looks pretty true to form. It's about that thickness. These feet look a little bit thinner. Perhaps that's the difference in airflow. These foams cure with the moisture in the air, and it's possible that this mold is a little bit more airtight than this mold, so the air could not get in, so therefore the moisture could not get in. Other people have suggested solutions like spritz a little bit of water on the inside before you spray it in and see how that works out. Or just make it so that there's another exit hole coming off of the front of the mold or something like that. But there you have it. Not too bad. Not perfect, but not too bad. Alright. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please enjoy doing some experiments yourself.